I come in contact with, and there are very few, even my physically handicapped student is capable of doing everything, just about everything a neurotypical child can do. There's no reason for you to be brushing your child's teeth at 7, 8, 9 years of age. There's no reason for you to be putting on their clothes. Yeah, they may not like it, and sensory-wise it may be unpleasant, but if they want to go where they want to go, they have to have clothes on. So we work a lot with, first you do this, and then we do that. And we use a lot of reinforcements that you have to find, as Dr. Phillip would say, the currency, what makes your child tick, what your child will work for. And it's not training the dog, it's not, I lost the phrase that people would say, you're giving them treats or candy, or eventually it could be just the high five. But you initially have to find out what that student or that your child's going to work for, and to motivate them, to get them to do things for themselves.
You want them to reach their highest level of independence that they
is
can
the most
reach.
important thing. I think that's the most important gift you can give your child, is a sense of independence. And what I'm seeing in my students over time, and yes, I'm blessed with the opportunity to have them for several years, is with every skill that they achieve on their own, they feel so empowered and so successful and so confident that the next skill might be a little more challenging, but they believe a little bit more in their ability. And when you're doing everything for them and trying to make their life, nice, so that you can avoid the argument or avoid the temper tantrum, which you have to get to where you have to get, they're going to use those temper tantrums in my classroom, because they think if they melt down enough, I'll give in and quickly put the shoes on and quickly we'll get out the door. It doesn't work that way. I don't particularly care if your child has lunch at 2:15 in the afternoon, because he will get snacks during the day for every positive action. They will, an appropriate reaction. They will get a treat. They're not going to starve, but they're going to have their shoes on their feet to walk to the bus. And I don't care if they're on the wrong feet. They're, as long as they put their shoes on their feet. And I really don't care if the underwear is backwards or inside out or whatever, as long as your bottom is covered.
But it's different as every student is individual. Families have different dynamics too, and you just have to kind of get to know the parents and understand how they work and how they think, and try to work with them.
Make your child as independent as possible. That's all I can.
Coming to where I'm coming from aware from another angle, is seeing the Temple Grandin HBO special, seeing the possibility that Einstein was autistic, seeing as you said, seeing the strengths in these children. I just wonder if we can raise and maybe parents already are, raising their vision of why these children are here. I think they've come, I like the Sunrise program, philosophy as well. I think they've come to teach us about unconditional love and accepting them as they are, and it seems as if the possibilities for what they can contribute are huge, much more than we can even anticipate. So I love the work that Caroline's doing. I just hope that parents also can see that this is not damaged. This is not a damaged child. This is looking at it.
They're a gift, and it takes good detective work to figure out what the gift is that every child has. Every one of my 8 students is gifted in some area. It's my job to find out how they can use that gift to be successful in life.
As a sibling, what my mother always said, when my brother came home and he had severe disabilities, he said, God gave us this child because he knew that we would love him and we would make the best life for him, and we could deal with all of the issues that he would go through. And we just accepted that from day one as siblings, and that was what it was. That was it.
And what facilities do you have for parents who have been in this day out and day in? And it can be overwhelming. How
reason I started a support group. Back in New York, we had tons of support groups. The school that Mary went to at the time was specialized in autism, went from K through, I think, like 8th grade. So one of the reasons I had my daughter, her name is Imani, which means faith. I didn't know if I wanted to have another child. But from sitting there and talking to other parents that had other children with autism, some had 2 or 3 in a family, some had 1, some were runners. And after sitting there and talking to all of them, I finally said, you know what? I want him to have a friend for life. I want him to have a sibling. So I took that chance, and Imani came along, and her name is now Faith. Either I'd have 2 wonderful children with autism, or 1 that wasn't and 1 that was, and she's his biggest cheerleader. So I think support groups are real important, because I looked at it this way. I've been extremely blessed to have some really wonderful family members. My husband worked in a special needs population for over 15 years before we ever had a child with autism. So I guess God knew what he was doing. But and nonetheless, my parents, my sisters, my family, my uncles, they've always rallied around me. And then I came to this church when I moved here, and it's a wonderful church family. They're so supportive. Mari sits, and if he has a moment, they're like, it's okay, you know, but not the funny looks, not the funny stares. And for me, I just find, and I wanted to reach out to other people and to know that they're not alone, that there are other people that you can sit and talk to. Sometimes I talk to a mom all the way from Kentucky. One of the members of the church has a daughter. She was all the way in Kentucky. Her husband will not accept the fact the child has autism and will not seek services. He said he doesn't want her to be labeled, and his family won't allow it either. So she's very much alone. So I'll spend some time talking to her on the phone and just raising her hopes a little bit and telling her maybe how she could get something like this started, find another mom in the area to talk to. One of my biggest things that I did when we kind of entered this whole realm called autism, my sister Jen had a friend, and I had met her sister. And both of us had children at the same time, and we decided, we could play, and found out that both of our kids were on the spectrum. So we took them to a play therapy kind of thing. Well, that was fun. That's when we realized that our children just did not fit into that particular crowd. But Nellie and I still stay really close, and we kind of talk to each other, you know. I remember when we both had children the second time around the same time frame, and we'd call each other, is she walking yet? Is they talking yet? Because we had all the same fears. So we helped each other through the process. Now her daughter, actually, same age as Omari, they're both 11, just recently started with seizures. And I was a little concerned about the silent seizures also. So I was doing some testing, and the doctor told me about one medication, and I was a little concerned about that, so I called Nellie up. But that's one of the people I call. And to have someone else there that just understands. Unfortunately, some of my other girlfriends may not understand, because they don't have to deal with some of the things that I have to deal with. I can call and talk to my sister, I can call and talk to my mom, but sometimes it's just need to talk to somebody. You know, so I feel as though doing things like this and having these kind of events and knowing that you now met a whole room of people that kind of understand kind of what you're going through, or better yet, for the community that don't have the children with autism. A few weeks ago, I went to a movie. I had a woman walk past me. My son isn't as verbal, so when he goes to the bathroom, my husband isn't there, he comes in with me. Pedophiles. So as we're walking into the bathroom, and a woman walks past me, and she says, "Oh, what is that boy doing in here?" I had to breathe. I just come from church. Okay. I said, well, that little boy, his name's Omari. He's my son. He's 11 years old. He's autistic. I said, I don't know if you're aware, but there's over 4,000 children in this community that have some level of autism. I said, I run an autism support group. I'd love if you'd come out sometime and learn a little bit more about autism. She said, I'm really busy. I said, I'll come to your church then. She said, I'm still a little busy. I said, well, nonetheless, if you'd ever like to come out, I really like it. She said, that poor child. Breathe again. So I breathed, and then I said, well, actually, he's doing great. The issue is just people that just don't seem to understand and know enough about autism. So that's why I'm here, to educate. So my goal is to educate parents, educate community, build partnerships, let people know they're not alone in this struggle. There's 4,000 other people and children in this community. And the truth of the matter is, as parents, we're not always going to be here. I hope to develop a safe, happy environment where they're accepted and where they can find services. And if there aren't services in this county, then we need to go find them and tell them we're here. Because we have a pretty rich resource at this point. And there are a lot of good resources. They're just really well-kept secrets. So figure out how to put all the dots together and how to tie all the little puzzles together. And on that note, I want to thank my panelists so much for coming out. And I want to give them a big hand. I also have a little token for my panelists. Thank you. And we just want to apologize, Marina. I didn't have your bio, and I just noticed I didn't introduce you. So.
That was a surprise.
These are things for panelists. And I realize that our panelists, because we know autism puzzles.
part of a puzzle to come together, so.
Well, maybe you have to do these little prizes if you want to stay, if you can. Okay.
And if I can make just a small announcement that on May 24th, the Brevard Autism Coalition is sponsoring a Meet the Dietitian Night. So on May 24th, from 6 to 9 o'clock at night, at the Scott Center at FIT, there's a free seminar. We'll have a developmental pediatrician, a neurologist, and a psychologist there, all talking about the diagnostic process involved with autism. And as I said, it's free, and I hope that if anyone's interested, that you're welcome to come.
Does everyone have their tickets though?
Be a number on the dial?